The Housing Minister says KiwiBuild is not a welfare scheme and wealthy New Zealanders should be able to access it along with everybody else. Phil Twyford has once again had to defend the flagship house building policy designed for those struggling to get into the housing market. The KiwiBuild unit says there's a group of pre-approved buyers who've declared they could raise deposits of up to $650,000, some with the help of family members. Here's our political editor, Jane Patterson.
KiwiBuild has long been sold as a way for those who otherwise couldn't afford to buy into the housing market to become homeowners. It has income caps for applicants but no means testing for first home buyers. The Housing Ministry released details to RNZ of more than 500 pre-approved buyers, noting there could be input errors in the data. The KiwiBuild unit subsequently confirmed there was a group who declared they could raise more than $300,000 for a deposit, including three who said they could stump up with $650,000 with help from their parents or other family members. National's housing spokesperson Judith Collins says the scheme should not be for wealthy New Zealanders.
It is a welfare scheme for developers, and what's increasingly obvious, it's now a welfare scheme for New Zealanders who have plenty of money that they can get from their parents or somewhere else.
KiwiBuild's head of delivery, Helen O'Sullivan, says the scheme is about increasing housing supply.
There is a misconception that these homes are subsidised. They're not subsidised. What the scheme is doing is facilitating the delivery of modest and affordable starter homes, which you still have to pay for. So you still actually need to have sufficient income and sufficient financial backing to actually purchase the homes.
The Housing Minister Phil Twyford stands by the current rule.
KiwiBuild is not asset tested, and we are not going to ban the bank of mum and dad or people who have access through their family who have an asset.
Another eligibility criteria is you either have to be a first home buyer or a second chancer, someone who's previously owned their own home but who meets an asset test. Depending on where they live, a second chancer can only have assets, including a cash deposit of up to $120,000. Mr Twyford says he has no intention of imposing an asset test on the first home buyers, who should be free to get money from their family.
It's as Kiwi as Pavlova and anything else that people should be able to mobilise family resources. Look, the last government announced a policy several years ago to give $20,000 cash up front to first home buyers with no asset testing.
Judith Collins says there are now so many problems with KiwiBuild, Mr Twyford should just shut up shop.
Well, I think KiwiBuild should just be killed. Actually, it's of no use to anybody other than some developers who are struggling in many cases to sell properties in places that other people didn't necessarily want to live in.
Phil Twyford will soon take a reset paper to Cabinet to help encourage more developers to get on board after he had to drop KiwiBuild's annual targets. From Parliament for Checkpoint, Jane Patterson.